All right, hello everyone. Today we're going to be working on your brainstorm for your argumentative essay following our reading of the crossover. So I know some of you did this already on Friday and some of you got, or at least partway through some of it. Some of you kind of had messy papers. So if you want to start over, you can start here at the beginning. If you don't want to start over, then I'll post a time at the front of the classroom that'll tell you exactly where to go in this video so that you can continue and pick up where you left off. Those of us that are just starting now, please make sure that number one, you have a lined piece of paper in front of you. If you don't, press pause, raise your hand, get one from me before you continue. Once you have your paper, you're going to make sure you put your name in the upper right hand corner. Some of you are forgetting this step. It is a little bit annoying, so make sure that you do this. So your name, class color, and then today's date is the 2nd. And then we're going to title our paper Argumentative Essay and Brainstorm, or Argumentative Essay Brainstorm. So make sure you put that nice and big at the top. If at any point you need to pause because I'm writing too fast or I'm talking too quickly, that's why I make these videos, is so that you have an opportunity to work at whatever pace is comfortable for you. So we title our paper, and the reason that we do a brainstorm is so that you can gather your thoughts before you write. It's really important that you think through the process before you actually do the typing, because the typing part shouldn't be difficult. That shouldn't be the most difficult part of your writing. This thinking part should be the most difficult part. So we're going to do brainstorms before every essay. This is also a strategy that all of English teachers on this campus encourage students to use when we get to our state test at the end of the year. So the first thing that we do, so we list our writing types. So you're going to write number 1 at the top, and then writing types. You can go ahead and underline it. Now there are 3 different kinds of essays. Hopefully you know this by now. If you know what they are, you can start writing them. If you don't know what they are, know that we have argumentative, we have explanatory, and we have a narrative essay. So we always write this no matter what kind of essay we're writing, and then we circle the one that we are focusing on for this brainstorm. So in this case, it's argumentative. I know it's an ugly circle. Live with it. It's going to be fine. Again, pause at any point if you need to catch up. Okay, the second thing we're going to write are our sources. So what did you read? And that's just to make sure you know where you're pulling your evidence from. And this is where we list them by kind, like what kind of source, by title, and by author. Again, this is just so that we kind of create a one-page information sheet that we're going to gather all of our important stuff from. So when we get to writing the essay, like I said, it'll be super easy. So we've only read one thing to really help us write this. Hopefully you know what that's called. So the kind was a novel, which is another word for a book. Everybody knows the title, so you're going to fill in the blank. I'm not even going to write it for you. And the author, just in case you don't have a book at your desk, is Kwame Alexander. All right, so again, go ahead and pause right now if you think that you need to catch up. All right, the third thing we're going to write is a prompt. We're not writing the entire prompt. Remember, this is what you did at the beginning of the unit. It's also in your packet. And the prompt is just where we, in one sentence, are going to state what kind of essay we're writing and what it's going to be about. So for prompt, I will write a what kind of essay about the primary, and I'm again not filling in this blank, so hopefully at this point everybody can fill in those blanks easily. We already circled what kind of essay it's going to be, which would go in the first blank right here. Okay, and in this blank right here, what exactly about the crossover are we writing about? Because we're not writing about the primary characters. We're writing about something in particular, and that's the thing that you took notes on. So go ahead and pause and make sure that you fill in all the blanks up until this point. All right, moving on, we are going to be writing or doing a graphic organizer. So graphic organizer, think about it like a worksheet, like you're creating your own image, your own graphic to fill in to help you write your essay. So the graphic organizer we use, or we always write all of them. That way, depending on what essay you get at the end of the year, you're familiar with all three kinds. So for graphic organizer, it's going to be either a T-chart, a big idea house, or a plot mountain. And again, just like how we did up here with writing types, we're going to circle over here which one we're going to be using. So for the purposes of an argumentative essay, it's always best to use a T-chart. And that's just because at one point we have to do some kind of comparisons. We'll get into that when we start writing. All right, we're going to go ahead and move down. And we're going to write our graphic organizer. We're going to draw it first. So for our graphic organizer, because we're going to just be using one more thing at the bottom of this, we're going to make sure we leave at least a few different, or like 4 different lines at the bottom. So don't write in this area, but our graphic organizer can take up this whole area of our paper. It's going to be most of where our writing comes from. All right. So to write our T-chart, I'm going to draw a line all the way across. You can see that these lines are not beautiful, and that's fine. And then we're going to draw a line about this far down. Doesn't really need to be bigger than that. Okay, so there's our T-chart. We're going to have 2 different sides, 2 different bullet points. So on one side, our left side, for example, this is where you're going to put whichever theme it is that you are going to write about. So if you're writing about family, you'll put family here. If you're writing about loss, you'll put loss here. If you're writing about love, you'll put love here. So make sure you choose whichever theme it is that you're actually going to be writing about is going to go here. Okay? So I'm going to put a star there, that way you know. For example, you could put family, dedication, love, or loss. Don't put all 4. Do not put all 4. You are choosing one, whichever one it is that you're going to write about. If you put all 4, I will know you did not listen to this video. Now on the other side over here, you are going to write a different theme, because part of our argumentative essay is acknowledging a different point of view. And we want to make sure that when we write, we have a good amount of evidence for both. So you're going to pick any one that you want that was opposite of this. For example, if you put family over here, you cannot put family over here. If you put love over here, you cannot put love over here. You're going to pick something different to go over on this side. So again, I'll write all 4. And just to give you a visual, if you picked family over here, then you have to pick something else over here, like loss. Okay, so go ahead and pause right now, catch up to where I'm at. All right, now on this side of our paper, the one that we're actually writing our theme on, we're going to go ahead and write at least 4 bullet points, because we're going to need a few, or 3 bullet points. We need a few different pieces of evidence. So this is where you'll go back to your crossover packet and you will find where this word is, and you will write whatever page number evidence, whatever summary you have of the page numbers and the evidence next to these bullet points. So this will say page something, and you will put your evidence. Page something else, and you will put your evidence. Another page, and you will put your evidence. So this is really just copying from our notes. You shouldn't have to find anything. You shouldn't have to open a book and look for something. This is copying from your packet. If at this point you do not know what to do, raise your hand. Raise your hand, I can help you. So go ahead and pause and then write everything that you need to know. Moving on to this side, we're going to do the same thing. You are finding whichever other theme you are using to contrast or to compare to the one that you chose. So again, in this example, if I chose family, on this side, I'm going to be choosing loss. And again, I'm going back to my packet and I am writing 3 points from whatever this theme is. All right, so again, copying from our notes. This is why the note taking is so important. This is why we stress that when we're reading. So I want you to take some time, fill this in, press pause if you need to. All right, at this point, you should have all of this filled in. There should be no blanks on your paper. And if there are and you still don't know what to do, you should have raised your hand. Because at this point, we're going to go to the bottom of our paper and we're going to write our thesis statement, which is so important. So our thesis statement is going down here. And this is where it's your claim plus 2 to 3 reasons. And for this, I want you to go ahead and circle or do a bracket right here. Make sure you add this note. This is what you're trying to prove. And in this case, you're trying to prove that your theme that you've decided or that you've chosen is most appropriate. So we're going to give you a little frame for your thesis statement. And that's going to start with going back to our prompt, which is what is the primary theme of the crossover. The theme of the crossover is blank because, and you have to summarize these reasons. So you're not going to tell me something very specific. You're not going to say something like the theme of the crossover is family. Remember, that has to be more than one word. It's got to be an entire phrase right here. An entire phrase. So I'm going to write that in a different color. You don't need to write what I write in green. All right, and then these 2 reasons have to be short phrases. Remember, a phrase is not a complete sentence. So we're not going to say the theme of the crossover is family. We can say the theme of the crossover is family sticks by you no matter what. We can say the theme of the crossover is loss is difficult because it requires sacrifice. But we're not going to use a one-word theme in this section. Okay, so make sure you have your phrase and then you have 2 reasons. So if I'm saying that the theme of the crossover is loss because it requires sacrifice, or the theme of the crossover is loss requires sacrifice because Josh has to cut his hair in order to satisfy a bet, and Josh plays in the playoff game even though his dad is sick. Right? So I'm giving 2 different reasons in this area. This is probably the most difficult part, is summarizing or coming up with reasons that aren't exactly quoted from the text or are not going to be something that you repeat when you write your body paragraphs, but they are super duper important. If you need help on this part, please raise your hand. I will come and talk to you. Okay, but this all needs to be completed before we start writing. So I'm going to scroll back up right here so you can see all of it at once. I should have no blanks. Everything should be completely filled in. And once I sign off or signature on your thesis statement in this area right here, then you are good to go. But everybody, I'm going to be looking for this when I do grades. Okay, if you have questions, let me know. Good luck. All right, on the line piece of paper at the very top, if you don't have one yet, remember, make sure you pause the video, get a pencil. At the very top, you are going to write your name, your class color, and today's date, which is the 7th. If you're watching this on a different day, or not 7th, 8th. If you're watching this on a different day, then just write whatever date. What the heck is happening? All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be working on your brainstorm. Now remember, I told you yesterday that I'm going to be doing videos for this essay, and that's just so you can work at your own pace. So if you need to pause because you need to catch up, if you need to pause because you have a question, it'll be a lot easier for you to do that this way. So by the same token, if you work fast, you can work fast. So everybody's going to be able to work at their own pace. Hopefully I'll be able to help everybody. That's the goal. I know this is new for you, so we're just going to try it out. Okay, first thing that you need to take out is your packet. So if you don't have your packet out yet and you don't have your book, I want you to pause the video, take out your packet, take out your book. All right, next you need a pencil. You'll also need a lined piece of paper. I'm going to go ahead and hand those out, so that'll be for later. But the first page of your packet is what we're going to look at first. So this is our unit prompt. Remember, your unit prompt is what tells you what your essay is going to be about, what your assignment is. You're going to see something similar to this on your state test. It's going to look very, very similar if you have an argumentative essay or explanatory essay, narrative essay. It has a lot of instructions, but remember, the part that we focus on is the part that says your assignment. So if you go down to where it says your assignment, paragraphs 4 and 5, I'm going to zoom in on my screen. I'm going to read it out loud. Some people believe parents should definitely listen to the advice of their children. Other people argue that parents have no reason to do so. You are working on an online school blog, and your assignment is to write an argumentative article to persuade readers on this topic. In your article, you will take a side about whether or not parents should listen to the advice of their children. So we've talked about this a lot throughout our reading. That is what your opinion is going to be. Whether or not parents should take the advice of their children, that's what your essay is going to be on. Now remember, an argumentative article is really based on what you think. So an explanatory essay, we just explain things. An argumentative essay is your opinion, but you back it up with support, evidence, research. In our case, we're going to be using what we read in the crossover to support whatever side you choose. So next thing you need, a lined piece of paper.